So it's not enough to have aliens. Now we have witches and androids? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Symphogear GX Episode 2. So yeah, the first episode really seemed to introduce some elements I was not prepared for. Um, we have some like witchcraft, alchemy stuff. I think like there is like alchemy mentioned or something, or someone mentioned it in a comment like to make sure I understood what was going on, something like that. And then we have these like androids as well, and it's like, what is going on here? This is not something I was really prepared for. Um, Full Metal Alchemist Symphogear. um, that would be interesting if there was fan art of that. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second thinking of that. Um, but yeah, we got like the setups for this season, of course, with episode one, just introducing us to the new elements, the new bad guys and everything. Um, Unsure of where this is gonna go because it seems pretty different. And like I said in the first episode, redirect as well. Apparently, I was told this season is pretty divisive. Um, Despite all that I've heard prior to getting to this being positive, apparently there are a lot of people who are not a fan of this season for whatever reason. I don't know yet. I don't want to know yet, so don't spoil me on why that is. Um, but yeah, I mean, if we are bringing in like shit like magic slash alchemy slash androids and stuff, I could see maybe the sudden like kind of change in direction maybe being a part of it because that's like very different. But if depending on how it's done, it could be well executed, and I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm always willing to give anything a chance in that regard. So we'll see. We'll see. We got like a brief moment of just like super gay slice of lifey shit in the first episode, so that was fun. Like even Chris is basically like, "We get it, you're gay. Shut up about it already." We get obviously music, a big important aspect to things with this series. Obviously, we get characters returning. We get some action scenes and missions. Really, just bringing us into things, kind of like how G did, like season two. And it's another case of like I just kind of wish it was a little bit slower in that regard, like giving us a little bit of time to relax before we get into everything. Just one episode, that's all I ask. um, and I understand, like, oh, they're not adding in any filler, they're just like, they're getting to the meat of the story and what they want to tell and all. And I appreciate that, but sometimes it gets very overwhelming, at least for me. Maybe it is just a me thing, but sometimes I really value those moments of respite, those moments of rest where we could just like enjoy the characters and their goofy shenanigans for a bit before we get into the heavy stuff. And this series gets heavy. It gets really heavy. So it's just something that I feel like is going to maybe be more of a problem for me than anyone else. It was also brought up in the comments last week because I used the term trauma baby and everything to refer to that trope that I associate mostly with Chris in this, but it was brought up like, oh, pretty much everyone in this series could be seen as that. And it's like, yeah, in terms of like Symphogear users and Relic users and all. And it's like, yeah, you're not wrong. But I specify like Chris because like Chris, especially in the first season, was the like very notable example. Like, yeah, of course Tsubasa has gone through trauma. Of course Hibiki has gone through trauma. Of course Goth Lolly Hatsune Miku has gone through trauma. But let's be completely honest here. Chris went through some shit. And that's why I tend to, like, point her out above others, because it's like she her trauma and the intense storyline that they really gave to her right from the start in season 1 just really, like, hammered her in specifically as, like, excessively traumatized like that. And again, the others showed that too, but just I feel like Chris was shown to be more so. And to the point where it was like more actively part of her entire character arc. While Tsubasa has kind of, like, already gotten over that, Chris is still kind of, like, showing that it still affects how she really even interacts with people. I feel like Tsubasa's kind of done a lot more healing a lot quicker. And I think it comes down to Chris's trauma, I think, just really affected her longer and more intensely. And that's not to discount Tsubasa's. I'm not one of those people who say that one person's trauma is worse than another's. No, fuck that shit. Everyone's trauma is validly, like, traumatizing and deserves to be treated as such. We should not try to play the game of comparing and contrasting people's traumas with each other, because that's toxic as fuck. So I'm not trying to do that. I want to make that very clear. I'm just saying it affected Chris in a way that it was, you know, a part of her life for a lot longer. That much you can say is true. And so she has a lot of trust issues and a lot of, like, a lot more to get over than with Tsubasa. But Tsubasa's trauma is absolutely just as valid and just as painful, and she absolutely deserves to be acknowledged for that as well. Speaking as someone who has had traumas in my life, I very much want to make that clear. So, but yeah, this is definitely turning out interesting. I feel like the last season had more of a intense and almost kind of scary start, while this one is more like just what the fuck is happening. um, I'm really curious about the androids though. Like that's really interesting to me. So I guess we're just gonna get into this, hope for the best, and see what this episode has in store for us, and take it as it goes. So let's get this going. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions, with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And don't forget about all the gaming content over on the Princess of Gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every single day, Horizon Forbidden West on Mondays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Thursdays is Life is Strange, Wednesdays and Sundays is Red Dead Redemption 2, and on Saturdays we have Nier Automata. A lot of great gaming content every day. Don't forget to click the link in the description below to follow it to today's reaction. I redirect everything just due to copyright reasons. And please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, I'm not gonna remember all these names, but the hooded character is not Carol, just some other random person who just looks like Carol. All right. Do we have like a sibling situation? Do we have a clone situation? What's going on here? Another android thing, maybe? It's possible. Obviously, when I ask these questions, I'm just, like, processing thoughts. Don't answer them, because these are clearly going to be like explained. I would consider that being spoiled. Do not spoil me. But so these I guess these androids are made from alchemy, and we see there's another one in this episode who seems to be able to like steal people's souls through a kiss, a very Poison Ivy style. But they were like talking about like capturing memories and stuff. So I guess it's more than just like, you know, stealing their souls. They get memories and stuff from them as well. The noise that they're summoning aren't normal noise, but alkanoise. So noise created by alchemy, clearly stronger, more powerful, have different effects and abilities. And they seem to be able to completely, like, I don't know if destroy is going to be correct, but at least put out of commission gears, which is really interesting and is going to cause some notable problems, I feel. Now, Carol says she's got a reason to try and destroy the world, and it has to do with like a promise to her father or something. And then like she gives Hibiki trauma by making her think of her father, and it's just like, okay, lovely. we're just gonna traumatize everyone all over again. I don't know if you heard that, but there was some noise. I think like we have like this suction cup mirror thing in the shower. I think it fell. I don't know if you actually heard that or not, but all right. Yeah, it's like they're being like traumatized all over again, and they're obviously setting up for Goth Lolly Hatsune Miku and her girlfriend to get back into the action and everything. Obviously, the opening and everything, the ending showcases them a lot. So I wonder if like our main trio are going to kind of be out of action for a lot of this, and we're going to have to start relying on the G trio: Maria, Goth Lolly Hatsune Miku, and the blonde girl, who I can't remember their names. I'm giving them nicknames because it makes it easier. But um, though I don't even have a nickname for the blonde girl. Though her abilities were kind of like, or her gear form kind of looked like a dark magician girl, right? So from like Yu-Gi-Oh. So maybe I'll just call her Dark Magician Girl. But yeah, those three might have like a notable role to play here in terms of the action and a lot of this season. We'll see. We'll see. Um, but yeah, we get to see how this coordinated attack was clearly meant to destabilize the entire group as a whole. They know exactly who they are and they're trying to take them out. But this one person who looks like Carol is apparently like the anti Carol, I guess. They're against Carol and is trying to get like help, and that's why they're being chased by the android. And so yeah, they're gonna definitely be able to help us figure things out. So a lot of crazy things that continue the setups from episode one, continue to add more setups. I mean, kind of just a two-part premiere and everything here, because this is, again, a direct continuation off the first. And adds in some major stakes that seem pretty intense and pretty wild. Again, not as intense and everything as G started, but still pretty intense. I'm definitely curious as to how this is going to be resolved at this point. Because right now it seems like this alchemy is like drastically better than the gears, and specifically made to take out the gears. So I'm curious as to like the origin of all of this. Why, if it's alchemy, why there's so much witch iconography, especially with like the opening basically showing iconography and imagery that is reminiscent of the Salem witch trials. Obviously, we're gonna get answers. I can't see at this point like what that would be, what the connection there would be. But I'm very interested. I'm definitely into this. It's absolutely one of those mysteries that I can't wait to see solved. So we're gonna leave it here. I don't really have much of anything else to add at this point, though I am curious about the redheaded drill. I guess probably android at this point too. The one who looks like insane as fuck in the opening, and was shown at the very end of the episode here. Really curious about that one, because the design with like the sharp teeth and the crazy eyes is just like, I want to know more about you right away. Please tell me more about you. It's such a fascinating, eye-catching design that I instantly want to know more. So that's going to be interesting to find out and to see exactly like the purpose of Maria's, or not Maria's, Carol's entire plot, I guess you could call it here. We have like a vague bit of information given, but only very small. And it's just the basic concept that she wants to destroy the world because of some promise she made with her father. And she seems to like think that the world deserves it and some shit. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. In the meantime, though, if there's anything like I missed or anything I misunderstood or whatnot, as long as it doesn't spoil anything, please feel free to let me know. Just no spoilers. If it's going to be revealed in a future episode, I count that as a spoiler. So, yeah, no spoilers, but if there's anything I missed or misunderstood based on what happened in this episode, let me know. That being said, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.